Find the Juice is back, and Teddy Slugger is here with you again for your Week 8 fantasy football projection video. And first, we're going to jump into a quick Week 7 recap over the 4 guys we talked about last week. And remember, I'm grabbing guys, not who we think are going to be the best. We're not like these other companies. We're like, oh my God, sleeper pick Christian McCaffrey. He's the #1 running back in football. He's not a sleeper pick. We're getting actual sleeper picks that I think people are uncertain about, have questions about, or that people are overlooking. So, of course, we're going to miss some. And speaking of missing some, we did jump on the back of Baker Mayfield against the Detroit Lions, and Baker still showed he has a hard time with the Lions. We were hoping he would overcome it with how great he's been this season so far, but he looked like the same old Baker against the Lions, and that's even before Mike Evans left with multiple injuries in the game. Our second player we talked about was more about talking about a run defense for you guys starting this week and on, and that's Jonathan Taylor against the Chargers. Jonathan Taylor got 34 PPR points, where most weeks that would have been #1 if it wasn't for Jahmyr Gibbs and Christian McCaffrey also going off. He got 3 rushing touchdowns, and he was, like I said, RB3 for the week, and just proving, like I said in the Week 7 video, the Chargers defense is garbage against the run. And next, we have 2 guys who returned from suspension and injury. And first, we'll get to Rashee Rice, who had a 29.4% target share against the Las Vegas Raiders. So if anyone had questions about him still being the wide receiver 1 in this offense after missing a year and a half, he is. He also picked up 2 touchdowns and finished as a wide receiver 10 in Week 7, while only playing 3 quarters. And finally, George Kittle fooled us, and we were reminded to never listen to anything Kyle Shanahan or the San Francisco 49ers say regarding player health, as George Kittle only got 2 targets and put up 0 fantasy points. But I am here to say, don't let that get you down. Do not turn your back on George Kittle, and you have to realize that that man is just as important as Christian McCaffrey to that 49ers offense in a week-in, week-out basis, and he will turn it around shortly, if not this week. After that, now let's jump into Week 8, the Bye-pocalypse, where 6 teams are on bye, and I know everyone is going to have questions this week, and we're going to start at quarterback with Jordan Love. The Packers offense has been looking subpar compared to what we expected from them after the first few weeks of the season. And now the Packers head to Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. The Steelers have been running a lot of cover 1 man coverage along with cover 3 zone coverage going into the game. I could see the Steelers leaning even more into cover 1 to slow down Josh Jacobs in the backfield to go along with capitalizing on Matthew Golden, the Packers' rookie receiver, his struggles to create separation this season against man coverage. Also, side note, Matthew Golden has actually been fantastic at getting target separation against zone, but he's only getting 1 yard of separation against man coverage. So this is where we can attack with Jordan Love. I know I set it up, it didn't sound too good with Josh Jacobs and Matthew Golden looking to possibly have bad weeks. But Jordan Love has a 5th highest QBR versus man coverage this season, while throwing to Romeo Doubs, who is 11th among wide receivers in fantasy points per target against man coverage. And next, to attack the Steelers' cover 3 defense, expect Tucker Kraft to be Jordan Love's favorite target, as cover 3 is weak to the slot or seam routes in the offense. Tucker Kraft is also 3rd among tight ends in target separation and 4th in fantasy points per target. Oh, and to tack on the fact that the Steelers are the 7th worst defense against the tight end position. And you probably remember us covering the Steelers defense against tight ends in the Week 6 video with David Njoku, and they still suck at covering tight ends. The one area that could foil this pick for us is that the Steelers are 7th in QB pressure rate, while Jordan Love has struggled under pressure with a 36.7% completion rate. The Packers do have the 5th highest pass block win rate this season, so let's hope they can keep TJ Watt and company in check so that we can lean on Jordan Love's 3rd best 76% clean pocket completion rate. Next, let's jump into wide receiver, and we're going to welcome back Zay Flowers on the Baltimore Ravens, who was on bye last week. And while we wait for news on Lamar Jackson's status for this game, we'll go ahead and fire up Zay Flowers regardless. Zay Flowers will be heading into a contest against the Chicago Bears, who love to run a lot of cover 3 and cover 4 defenses. But why does this matter? Well, we already know the weakness of cover 3 after talking about it in the QB segment with Jordan Love and Tucker Kraft. This is in Zay's favor as he lines up in the slot 33% of the time, and I believe that could see a bump this week. And after we break down cover 4 defense, you'll see why. Cover 4 defense is meant to keep everything in front of the defense, aka not allowing any big passing plays. This also favors Zay Flowers because if you ever watched him play, he's a smaller version of Rashee Rice. He likes to find soft spots in zone coverage and create yards with his burst and shiftiness. Running more Zay Flowers in the slot means getting the ball to him quicker and underneath the cover 4 zone and in the weak spot of the cover 3 zone to allow him to do what he does best. All of this without even telling you guys that the Bears are actually second worst against wide receivers this season in fantasy points per target allowed metric. Some teams that run the same coverage as Chicago that Zay has already faced this season were the Buffalo Bills, where Zay put up 28.1 PPR points. Then you got the Cleveland Browns, and Zay had 14.9 PPR points. The Chiefs, where Zay had 14.4 PPR points. Houston, where Zay had 12.2 PPR points. And the Rams, where Zay had 8.8 PPR points. But remember, don't get turned away by those last two outcomes, as Lamar Jackson did not play those last two games. Now, let's get into a running back I think everyone is starting to love. I loved him at Arizona State last year. I watched him run and I was like, this dude is serious. I'm surprised he went as late in the draft as he did. And we're going to talk about Cam Scatterbo, the Scat Pack, looking like a juggernaut from X-Men, bulldozing through the defense. Cam's lowest fantasy point total has been 13 against the Chargers, but this man explodes with fantasy points, scoring over 24 one week and over 31 a couple weeks ago. He's going up against the Philadelphia Eagles in a rematch of that primetime game where the Giants absolutely embarrassed the Eagles. And personally, I believe the Eagles defense is better than it looked in that game, especially with Jalen Carter back. But does he make them better against the run? The Eagles give up the 10th most fantasy points per rush attempt by running backs and the 5th most fantasy points per target to running backs. The latter is important as the Giants have shown they're not afraid to get Scatterbo involved in the pass game, as he will get between 3 to 7 targets per game. And finally, let's not forget that the 31 points for Cam actually came against these Philadelphia Eagles. So why are the Eagles so poor against the run? It may be because they are 26th in run stop win rate, only winning on the line during run plays 28% of the time. The Giants are sitting middle of the pack in run blocking win rate, so this could be the one and only upper hand the Giants could have come Sunday, and look for the Giants to lean into it. And finally this week, we go to an old man in Kansas City at tight end, Travis Kelce. We've seen Travis Kelce look mid. Then, a week later, put up old Travis Kelce numbers. Now here we are. Buckle up, everyone. This is Travis Kelce week. Travis Kelce will be home taking on the Washington Commanders. And let me tell you, the Commanders are single-handedly the worst defense against tight ends this season. The fantasy points per game might not show it, but the fantasy points per target does. And I will get into some evidence, because against teams that actually use their tight ends regularly in the pass game, the Commanders have allowed on average 18.53 PPR points per game to those tight ends. Commanders play a lot of cover 1 and cover 3 defense. I'm done breaking down cover 3, but cover 1 is important. Mahomes actually looks for Kelce in man coverage due to Kelce's elite route running and his ability to get separation if a linebacker is lined up against him. And if you've ever watched a Chiefs game on national television, I am sure you have heard the broadcaster, commentator, whatever, say Travis Kelce is the best route running tight end of all time. So I think this may be cheating, but Travis Kelce along with Rashee Rice should absolutely pop off on Monday night. This means throw in Travis and you can breathe easy knowing that Travis will win you your week 8 matchup if it's close on Monday night, and you don't have to worry about anything else. And that'll do it for this week. And like I say every week, if you have any questions, any waiver questions, start sit questions, trade questions, in any type of league, just hit me up on X. Link is in the details below. Hit me up in the comments. I will respond. And if you follow us on X, I will get projections out for these guys who could pop off due to the starter being hurt. We're watching Breece Hall, Nico Collins, Christian Kirk, Jaden Daniels. There's more. Lamar Jackson, etc., etc. I will keep you guys informed. All you gotta do is ask and follow. Until next week, watch some NBA, watch some hockey while you're waiting for NFL. It's the best time of the sports year, and I will see you in week 9. Peace.